Welcome to the seventh installment of Renee and Darryl's Walt Disney World Honeymoon. I'm Darryl.
And I'm Renee. For those of you joining us for the first time, we're a middle-aged newlywed couple planning our honeymoon to the world during the 2019 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. If you want more background on us, check out our first episode on this channel. We're planning to stream these vlogs most Wednesday nights, and most of the time that's going to be from right here in Darryl's podcast studio.
Now, I should disclose that I have Disney stock in a retirement fund, and I'm a Disney Visa card holder. That first really doesn't have an effect, but the latter does as we're looking for and taking advantage of discounts available through the Disney Rewards Visa card. And, of course, using the Disney dollars when we go to pay for some of the things at the parks.
So tonight we're going to talk about some of the cool games in Walt Disney World. We're going to be talking about only the games that Disney lists as attractions. And to start off, let's look at the one we've mentioned several times before, and that's the Disney Phineas and Ferb Agent P's World Showcase Adventure.
Yeah, this is the first of the three we're going to talk about tonight. And I experienced this years and years ago before it was Agent P's World Showcase Adventure when it was Kim Possible. And at that point, it was a flip phone.
Ooh.
It was enjoyable.
It was.
It was really cool to go and do. But they've made changes for Agent P's. And at this point, they've gotten rid of the phones entirely. And you're now using the app on your phone. And I gather that you can actually do it from a website too. So you don't even have to use the Play app, the Disney Play app. You can actually use it straight in your web browser. But this
How would you do that in Disney World?
It's a web browser. You just open up your
phone. You mean
and,
like from your phone? Okay.
Right, yeah, it's a mobile website.
Okay.
And it kind of had that feel, even on the flip phone, of like a WAP, W-A-P website from the early days. So I'm not too surprised. The updated version had better video and stuff like that. And we've seen, like, Tim Tracker did a whole thing. We watched that. We watched a couple of other videos. So we've gotten a feel for what it is. Quite frankly, I'm not sure it has some of the cool that the old Kim Possible had, but it's still a really nice experience. And this is something that, like, for us who are geocachers, we're really going to enjoy it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts from seeing the videos?
Well, it looked really fun. And there's, you go from place to place. I don't really know the cartoon, though, so I feel a little lost, a little old, maybe.
Yeah,
a little middle-aged. I don't know what to call it, but
Perry the platypus is the pet who's the agent. I've now given you all of my knowledge of Phineas and Ferb.
So now we share the same.
Yes.
No, but it looks really cute, and you're going from place to place, and you're using. It's kind of like, I don't know, I guess how geocaching for kids could be. With instead of GPS, it tells you through there what to do next, and you're trying to. I mean, you have a purpose in doing it.
Well, it was originally kind of sold as location based, which it is in that you have to be there, but it doesn't use GPS.
Right. No, but I meant like, learning how to go, like a where I go kind of a thing.
Well, you're the secret agent. You have to do things, but like in the Japan pavilion, you start the waterfall. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool. There's
the chimes that you activate, and there's several different things in the different areas. And near as I can tell, these are. Now you go to the land, whether it's Japan, England, China, whatever, and you do like 4 or 5 different missions in that land.
Okay.
All in the same thing. So it's now just the one land, so it's self-contained. So it's going to be a lot easier than it was when it was Kim Possible.
Was it all over through the different...
Kim Possible, there were a few different versions, and you had to start in one land and work your way through. So you had to travel through, like, I think it was 5 countries to complete the missions, and then you could start over and do another 5 from a different way. So when I did it, I ended up I think I started in China, and I went through to England, and I ended up drowning the guy in England. Basically, it was really cool because the water comes up in this window, and who was it? Yeah, I think it was Alice from Alice in Wonderland, but I know it was actually, I don't know. There were 2 of the English characters who were coming out from a meet and greet, and they got all excited, staying in character, which I thought was absolutely hysterical. who are so excited to see us trigger it because they don't get to see it very often and they think it's really cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, so even the cast members are into it.
That is really cool. I mean, we saw that in some of the others too. That I mean, we've been watching other people's vlogs or where they're actually playing the game and taking us through it, and it's really cool. I love how the characters get into it.
Yeah,
especially when you're filming and they know you're filming.
Sure, yeah. And this one is one of the ones that I want to redo because it's the first, and when I was there, it was the only experience like this. It's an interactive game that you get to really participate in.
I mean, Disney seems to be doing a lot like that. Like when the Star Wars thing opens, you get like certain points and stuff like that for flying the Millennium Falcon. And, you know, I want to do that. I'm so upset that it's not open yet.
We're going to have to see how that actually works because this is one of the rumors that they've really been working with that to try to make it more user friendly. Because the original concept was they were going to actually be able to crash the Falcon.
Yikes.
Not so bad that, you know, everyone dies or anything, but you could actually shorten your trip, which doesn't work.
That's kind of sad.
I don't really know what's going on because I've seen some mixed reports on it, but my understanding is with the Millennium Falcon experience, there's several cockpits in a centrifuge, kind of like with Mission Space.
Okay.
So it's not like you could end the experience early.
Because other people are still...
Yeah, because you still have others in the experience. So you know, the plan was originally they wanted to make these all very interactive.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're going to end up doing because they certainly can't have just one. You know, there's only like 3 of these centrifuges, I think.
Oh, so that doesn't really work.
If it's like a 3.5, 4 minute experience or cycle time, not experience, it's probably like a 2.5, 3 minute experience and then, you know, a minute to cycle kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, because you got to get everyone out and get everyone back in. And it's 6 people per cockpit. Oh. That's not a lot of capacity. That's going to be a problem.
That is.
So I think that's the big problem is they want to give you more flexibility, but in order to get people through, they can't. So I don't know. We'll have to see what they end up with. And I have the feeling some of that's going to get scrapped, but the whole concept was your performance in the simulator affects your experience in some of the rest of the land.
Okay.
So we'll see how that works, but this is totally different.
I know these are, I mean, they're still all games, but I just think it's really cool that it's so much of a different experience. Like, again, I don't remember when I went last time, but I'm sure it was, you know, you're in the Magic Kingdom and there's some rides and it's a small world and, you know, then you're done. And the adults are bored because the kids want to go on the kid rides. And unless they like roller coasters, which there's not a lot of those either, then, you know, what do you do? So this, I think, well, we might really just be big kids, but they're really interactive games. It's like when we went to Michigan Adventure, well, between ones that I didn't really feel like going on and the ones my niece couldn't go on because she was recovering from a concussion, I didn't think it was that great and the food was awful. So you put everything all together and it was like, oh, and I'm wet. You know, so it's like, ugh.
Yeah. No, but this is an interesting experience. It was the first of its type that I know of in the park. Certainly the first that I did. I think it's still, from what I've seen, an interesting experience. And for those of us who are like geocachers, it's really cool because we get to, you know, like drool over what can be done if you have the resources.
Right. Oh, it's like those new AR ones, not like Where I Go. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, but when you have the resources to dump into this and you have the assistance of the property management,
right,
and all of this stuff really kind of blends in well, not great, but well into the theming. So it really kind of just jumps out at you. You don't know that it's there unless you've seen it before.
Right. I think they're really cool, and I think it's really cool how the characters pop up and you see different things, even though I don't know who most of them are, and they talk to you. And so everybody else gets to enjoy it too. Like they'll see something and they're in a different room and they'll see something happen. They don't know why it's happening, but it's kind of cool.
Now, the one that I'm actually more excited to see is the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, I shouldn't say that.
This one I'm torn between the next two.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one I'm excited to see what it is, but I'm not that excited to really play it because this one's more of a card game.
Right.
And this one you use the cards to activate attacks and stuff like that. So it's a lot more involved than I think we want to get during our trip there. But I want to see what they've done.
And you can collect cards from it, like every time you
buy booster packs.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that game Magic, isn't it? Or like
it was inspired from Magic the Gathering, but it's not.
Right. I mean, it's its own thing, and it is really cool that what we've seen that you can do, but it's kind of, again, I think I'm just not used to. I mean, if you give me like a remote and a fake gun or something, I can make that happen on the screen, but this is like holding up the card. I'm going to pick this card, and never really played Dungeons and Dragons or any of those. And I think you kind of need some of that concept to really understand how the cards and the boosters work to tie it all together. And now you play 5 cards. And I mean, I think it looks super cool. I just I'm a little bit clueless, but I think it still looks really cool. Cause I mean, from watching it.
Yeah. It's a cool use of the technology because it's using cameras to read what you have. And exercise those moves. You have to stand in the little circle on the ground.
Right.
That tells you where to go. And you have to try to kind of find where the camera is because this was done several years ago.
It's not very obvious.
Well, and they're trying to hide it, but the problem is it doesn't work so well if you don't have the cards facing the right way, and they didn't put the cards right, or the cameras right in front of the screens. And the screens are pretty well hidden. They're pretty well masked. The whole concept is they come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and something appears in it.
Yeah, you have the really portals, and Merlin comes out to give Merlin. You clues, and there's a lot of cool stuff.
There really is. I just don't totally understand, like, how I think they studied it ahead of time when we were watching them, and she knew more about how many cards she was supposed to play. And
well, they got instruction, and we were talking about the Tim Tracker again. Tim Tracker had gotten instructions when you go to the fire station to get your cards, and I believe you get 1 set of cards when you go for the first time, and then you can get additional cards, different cards, like every day.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
But I don't know for sure that that's how that works.
And you collect the cards, and you collect different things for it to...
Well, yeah, and you use the attacks on the cards, and you have to use the shield on the back, which I guess any of the shields will work for some of the stuff. But yeah, it's a cool game. I
think if we lived down there, I'd probably be more likely to get into it.
Yeah, it's a very different type of experience than the others, the other two that we're mentioning, because this is not so much that you're experiencing or you're interacting with the environment as you're interacting with these portals in the environment, and you get like special cards at some of the events. So I don't think they're doing it for the Halloween events this year, but they'll have special events for other things where you get a special card.
Oh, okay. I can see why that would be intriguing, though.
Yeah, so you can get some special things, and people will really get into this. So
that one's new.
This one's not so new.
Okay.
This is actually older than the next one we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But this is the first one that went into Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
And it's very cool. I mean, it's not something...
It's pretty involved.
I think I'm going to get involved with, especially being so short a time that we're going to be down there.
I think that's something that you have to really... do
you really want to be carrying around these cards all the time, going on the rides and whatnot? So yeah, this is why I'm not so sure we're going to get into the Magic Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom.
It's definitely worth looking at.
Yeah, I want to experience this because this is a very cool concept. But we'll probably do the first missions and then be done with it.
Right, that makes sense. The next one, I want to do all the missions.
Yeah, the next one we have to complete everything.
I really want to. The next one is so cool, and I kind of like pirates anyway. You never know. I keep thinking maybe one of those days I'll be somewhere and the real Jack Sparrow will just show up. Not really.
There is no real Jack Sparrow.
Okay, so the Johnny Depp part.
Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Well, they closed the Pirate Academy, I think it was called.
They had a school?
Yeah, they had. It was kind of like the Jedi Academy over in studios. We saw it at Magic Kingdom or Disneyland, the Magic Kingdom park out there. where they teach the kids essentially to be
Pirates.
But
Right.
That's gone now.
That's stupid.
They finally closed that down. The whole Pirates franchise has kind of dwindled. Yeah,
that's sad. But this
we'll just say it that way. It's
right.
Be nice.
But the Pirates Adventure Treasures of the Seven Seas looks so cool because you go and you get like a map, and the thing it tells you need a talisman, like like a cryptic reader. Is that what?
Well, the talisman is your magic band,
right?
And that's just to activate it. Yeah, okay.
I was going there. So like they build up this whole thing. Use your talisman, and it's really
originally when they did this, when they created this, it was pre-magic band. So you were getting an actual talisman card.
Oh, a card. Okay.
Which they were all the same design, but you had the card, so that's why they refer to it as the talisman.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because it was, originally this like starfish pentagram thing that, it looks like the talisman on the
okay.
Yeah. So now they've switched it to the magic band. Because everyone has the magic band, and now it's tied to the account.
And that's really cool, because being that it's tied to the account, they can tell, like, I'm hoping, at least, like, we go this time and we play, when we go back again, they won't give us the same thing again. Because I know that there's 5 maps, right?
There's 5, there's 5 maps, like, 5 adventures.
Like 5 adventures within the maps, but I don't think if you do one map twice, or if I got a map separate from you, if I didn't know you, I think we'd have 2 different experiences on that same map.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things I'm a little confused about.
When you do it, you have to find 5 things, and it's sending you all over.
I think the end point is the same on all of them.
Right.
For each map, I think the end point is always the same.
But the midpoints are different.
But I think there's like 6 different points in total that you can go to per map, and you'll go to 5 of them.
Right.
So it will change up which one's in which order, but not like infinite. I think there's probably a couple of
you're
options.
Gonna right, but I think in somehow they've done a mix, and you don't necessarily go from point A to point B. You might go from point A to point F and then to point B.
We have seen the vlogs where it's the same one, but they're going in different orders.
That's what I mean.
So we know that there is some.
Each map has the same stops, but you don't necessarily go in the same order.
And it always ends at the same one.
Right. And they're so cool because you go and you activate it with, by putting your magic band on there. And then it tells you something. It comes up with its little thing. And then there's like, at the end, something's glowing. And that's the next thing you have to find on your map. So you find that piece, not unlike the Treasure X, like we've been doing the unearthing these little toy things.
You have a symbol, and the symbol on the map, which is a paper map, that you get to keep. They stamp it to confirm that you've done it. You go back, you have to keep going back to the
same kiosk,
whatever the dispatch thing. Which is between Adventureland and Frontierland.
Okay.
Which is kind of sucky.
And we've seen a couple people working there, some with more enthusiasm than others.
Yeah, in the videos. We haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it in person, but yeah. And I think it's really cool because things you probably see when you're going through Disney World that you never really imagine why you're seeing them. If you don't know you're playing them, like all of a sudden there's just a poof of smoke, but really I just cast a spell on you or on the thing next to you or whatever.
Yeah, some of the things will squirt water. Some of the things
really
are just like
cool, dry ice things,
cool visual effects.
Right.
There's one where you're launching cannons and have to try to dislodge something, I think
and then
it opens a chest on the other side
that talks to you. Oh, or there's the one in the store where it pulls down a map, so you're like on one side of the store through a like a, I don't know, it's not really a wall, I don't know if it's glass, I don't know what's there. Yeah. And then the people who are on, is it the jail cell? No, the people who are on the other side, this map comes down and things light up and it talks to you, and I just lost these. And so I heard people in the video that sounded like they were closer to where the map is, and you're on the other side of this like wall, but it's telling you what to do next. But other people are like, look, it's talking. They don't even know why it's there, and it's really cool because it's in the middle of one of the stores.
Yeah, there's some of the video screens on there, like the final version or the final stop gives you a video screen, and in one case they actually gave a paper fast pass to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right, there was like a special thing.
Right, which they don't do the paper fast passes at Disney World anymore, but they still will issue the paper fast passes
as
for
like a prize.
special things. So they were doing that, and that was a fairly recent video.
Right.
So, but other videos that were also recent weren't doing that, and I think it probably is dependent on the wait times at Pirates of the Caribbean. So if it's a slower day, they aren't going to give you the fast pass. But if it is a busy day, you'll earn a fast pass to Pirates, which is always cool.
Really cool. Yeah. So I'm excited about that one. I think that's the one I'm most excited about, but I kind of like...
definitely the one I'm most excited about.
It looks like a lot of fun.
Because for us, it's the experience of what can you do if you had the resources and the property management cooperation. But the other thing I like about this one over Agent P's is this does not involve your phone or another phone. This one is just the wristband.
Even though we've already got the what do you call the thingies that you can trade in, the little battery packs or whatever.
The fuel rods.
Yeah, so we can keep like a battery pack on called a fuel rod, and then they have fuel rod exchange stations.
Yeah, which is something we'll talk about in a future show too. But
it's pretty cool. But yeah, this way there's less chance of you're not using your phone the whole time worrying about...
Well, and I want to get off my phone.
Right.
I use my phone all the time. We play Pokemon Go. We play geocaching, Wallaby.
Right.
All of these things keep you on your phone.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to do that. And it's cool because you're actually reading something. You're trying to figure it out. It's still really cool. And you use your talisman on your wrist to do that. And I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
I think they should do an Indiana Jones one.
They might. But
I think that's also kind of dated and it doesn't make sense.
Well, the only way I see them doing that in Disney World is if they brought it to the studios, which they might, and they'd have to resurrect this series before they get more interest in it.
That's true.
And there's been talk of that.
There has?
That they're going to resurrect it. But I'm wondering...
Is Harrison Ford going to play his father in this one?
I don't think so.
Sean Connery still alive?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. But I think, and I don't know, but I think we're going to start seeing something like the Pirate Adventure in Galaxy's Edge, the new Star Wars land.
Okay.
But I want to say this is going to be a much more immersive experience because, again, it's going to tie into like the Millennium Falcon.
Right. And I think something with that points has something to do with something else. Like if you...
Yeah, the credits and
tells you your stats for, how you did in flying or whatever.
Well, I think it's going to be tied to the coins. I think you're going to have your credits tied, but I don't know.
Okay.
So I have the feeling what we might see, and this is purely speculation, but we might see some more interaction where if we go and complete missions within the land, maybe another ride because there's going to be the escape and all that kind of stuff. But maybe if you complete those in one order, you get a totally different experience than in those rides than if you complete them in a different order. Because, if you've flown the Millennium Falcon, maybe you have the credits that you get out of the Imperial base quicker or something like that.
That'd be fun.
If you go around and hit all of the special zones outside and, you're, pickpocketing, or they probably wouldn't do the pickpocketing, but maybe you're collecting the scraps to make a droid. Maybe if you've made the droid, you have better navigation on the Falcon.
Oh,
I'm just purely
that would
guessing.
Be really cool, though. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and I get the impression that that's really what they want to do. They really want to make this land the most immersive, not just in the visuals and the tactile feel, but also by bringing you into the story. And I have the feeling that that's part of what they're going to do. They're going to take everything they've learned from these other games,
right, to perfect
and bring
the
it
next
forward.
Ones. That makes sense. I mean, I really like the direction it's going. It seems like it's a lot of fun, and it's tying some technology in with just moving around and going and doing, and just a different kind of experience. So children like it, adults like it, everybody kind of gets into that.
Yeah, so we'll see what it's like. If you haven't picked up the Solo movie,
It's worth watching.
Yeah, it was a good one-timer. I don't think
Yeah.
we'd watch it again. But there is a special on the Blu-ray, which shows you what they're going through to create it and how they have recreated in the queue the actual Millennium Falcon, so that you're actually wandering through the Falcon, getting to the cockpit, which is where you're actually going to fly.
Fun. Okay.
So I'm anxious to see how that actually works, because it just, I'm sure once we see it, everything's going to make sense. But right now, it's just not making sense.
It's just too much stuff that they've given us.
Well, we've got so many leaks that they've done, so many photos, and everything, that we have a good idea of what's going, and nothing is really adding up yet.
Oh.
And a lot of the leaks and rumors and stuff, you don't know what's actually true and what's people just being people.
Right. Understandable. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up. So thank you for watching, especially those of you watching live and sending comments in the chat. If you have more to share after the show, please drop those in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on that little bell icon to get the notifications when we go live. And
next week, we'll be back to talk some of the non-Disney games like geocaching, Munzie, Pokemon Go.
And Hidden Mickeys. That's another new one for me.
Yeah, which I'm excited to do that again. And there's a new app for it that we'll mention that I've never played.
Will it be like Munzie where it tells you there's a hidden Mickey close?
I'm not going to say that yet because I haven't looked at the app.
Okay. And I know actually,
I've looked at the app, but it was like 8 weeks ago.
Oh, and I really forgot who did it, but someone found a hidden Minnie. She pointed it out in one of her blogs.
Yes,
vlogs.
I want to say that was Tim Tracker again.
Was it?
Yeah, and there was a hidden Minnie in the Land Pavilion. It was in one of the tubes.
Yes.
Where it's usually just the hidden Mickeys, which aren't so hidden.
Some of them are just harder to find.
It's the mesh, but it had the bow on it this time for a hidden Minnie.
Minnie. Yes.
Thanks again.